okay. And also,
Can we go inside with all this wind?
they won't let you inside. Right. You stand mamish at the top of the rail. Never.
I was there with my mother.
Wait. No, we were not. We were not with your mother inside. We were with your mother here.
No, we
Well,
won't.
the TSA police in 5 seconds. You saw the other levaya went in, and then they shut the door.
We went inside.
Wait. There's no levaya in there now.
No, they went in through the gate. Once they went in after the gate, they just closed the gate. No one's allowed to go in.
They must have changed it.
Okay.
This is
Doesn't
already
matter.
done.
He went United in Newark. That's a different story.
We're gonna. They don't let us go inside, so let's
Huddle over here.
let's do our thing here.
No one else is gonna.
What?
Okay, we're
No,
good to
creates
go,
an
yes?
answer. So, okay, everybody.
Okay. Family conference.
It sounds like truck coming.
You just have to speak loudly as you can.
I believe you're shouting at your children.
It speaks Parsha. It says, Vayomer Moshe al Aaron. It says, Kravel HaMizbeach. So it seems to be that Aaron HaKohen needed encouragement to come close to Mizbeach. Question is, what encouragement did Aaron HaKohen need? Some say that Aaron HaKohen was embarrassed because of the Maisa Egel, or what he did. That's why he wouldn't come close. But Rashi doesn't mention it. The most of the Midrashim simply say that Aaron HaKohen, because of his Midas Toivus, because of his Feinkeit, because of his Anova, he simply wouldn't come close to Mizbeach. He couldn't believe that there was no one better for the job than him. He wouldn't come close. So Moshe Rabbeinu told him, Kravel HaMizbeach, he told him, Lekach Nivcharta. The Farshim say that Lekach Nivcharta, it's for this reason alone, for your Anova, for your Feinkeit, for your Midas Toivus, Lekach Nivcharta, this is why you were the one who was chosen to be the highest position, to be the representative, to be the Shliach of Klal Yisrael. Zeidy, as we know, didn't have too many opportunities in learning. He didn't have too many opportunities, but the one opportunity that every person is given to become a mensch, to become like Aaron HaKohen was an Oyev Shalom, Veroidev Shalom. My father told me that years ago he lived in the small towns, and the small towns where he davened in shuls, unfortunately there was machloikes, and Zeidy was never involved in any machloikes.
True.
From what we knew him all the years, he was never involved in any machloikes. He was Oyev Shalom, he was a Roidev Shalom, he was Oyev Esabriyas, Umakarvan La Torah. Uncle David has told me, Encina has told me, my father has told me that whenever they would call up, the boys would call up from yeshiva and they wanted to bring home boys. It didn't matter, you were bringing home 5 friends, you were bringing home 10 friends, you were bringing home 15 friends. The house was always open. The real Oyev Esabriyas, Umakarvan La Torah. And therefore, even though the opportunity in learning, he really wasn't given, but on the other hand, we saw what he sacrificed to send his children away to yeshiva, to send the first child away. And Baruch Hashem, this is why, Baruch Hashem, he was zoicha for all the things that he was. Just one more thing, it says, but that by Aaron HaKohen, it says when Aaron HaKohen lost his children, so the pasuk says, Vayidom Aharon, and it says Aharon, he was quiet. Now the Targum says, Vayidom Aharon, the Targum says, Vishabach Aharon. Not only was he quiet, but he was mishabeach as well. So I think the one thing that we know, what was the shvach of Aaron HaKohen? That was the tefillah. So one thing that we know about Zeidy came to shul, not like Zeidy really, he came to shul to daven. In shul he was pretty quiet, from what we remember about Zeidy. But when Zeidy was loud in shul, when it came to the singing, and when it came whatever he could participate in shul, really, he was an inspiration. To sit next to him in shul is really, like we said, the background he didn't have, but to see a person like that to come to shul, he davened so properly, he davened so fine, and everything really was an inspiration to us all. Just one more thing I'd like to finish, just for the family and for all the friends who are here. In this week's Seder, it also says, V'acheichem kol beis Yisrael yivku es asreifa asher saraf Hashem. It says, V'yivku es asreifa. So the Mefarshim ask, V'achechem Gol Beis Yisrael Yivku Es HaSreifa, it should be Yivku Al HaSreifa. You should be crying for the Sreifa, and not Es HaSreifa. So it says like this, Es HaSreifa, it means together with the Sreifa. It means that when an Adam Tzaddik and an Adam Kosher is Nifter, it's like V'gam L'Loi T'Hoilech Es Avram. Yivku Es HaSreifa, you cry together. If anybody has a tzara, or if anybody has something, it's an opportunity now to ask and everything in the schus. Just one thing I'd like to mention, I think I speak in the name of the whole family, is to thank Aunt Sina and Uncle Ira, yes. For the job that they did for all of us, for my parents, for us. We could have done more. The first thing that happens every Ftira, unfortunately, the first thing you think, you could have done more. Here it's not. We think we could have done more. We know we could have all done more.
But they couldn't.
But the reason, right? They couldn't have done more, and the reason that we got away with doing, maybe it was because Aunt Sina and Uncle Ira for the last 15 years, Yoimam V'Lahayla really was so ibegegeben, and we thank them, and it'll be a schus for them, and it should be Bilam Ovos Lanetzach U'Moch Hashem Elokim Dimim Yal Kol Ponim.
Okay. I would like Rabbi Lazar to say a few words.
Just to go back to the point that was made this week's parasha, when Aaron HaKohen is told about approaches the din of his two sons, so it says Vayidem Aaron. So Aaron was quiet. So as Mefarshim say, there's a lot of other ways to understand what Vayidem Aaron was. What does it mean that he was just quiet? So there's a Shlah Kaddish which discusses this week, Rosh Chodesh is Chodesh benching. We ask for Chaim Shleivanu Yer Shemayim Yerscheit, and we ask for Chaim Shleivanu Ahavas Torah Yer Shemayim. It's a famous question. What's the two Yer Shemayim? We asked for it once. Why are we asking for it twice? So there are two types of Yer Shemayim. There's a Yer Shemayim which is a Yer Ascheit. That we look at it and we have Yer Shemayim because we're afraid. But then there's a Yer Shemayim which comes from an Ahava. There's a Yer Shemayim which that we're inspired by the Rebbeinu Shalom. We're in awe. It's not just the Yer Shemayim just has a Yer Ascheit, a fear of what we did or what we didn't do. It's an awe. That's the second Yer Shemayim. So when it comes to Vayidayim, I think that there were two aspects. I was thinking that there was a Vayidayim that Aaron accepted the din, but there was another Vayidayim. And Moshe told them, the Heim G'dolim, his two sons, they were greater than Moshe and Aaron, because the Rebbeinu Shalom saw them, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted them dafka. So Vayidayim Aaron is not just that he saw in them that he was quiet. The Vayidayim Aaron was that he accepted in a godless and a greatness and a ramos that he looked at them. So I come from a perspective being outside the family, but I've spent over the years Shabbosim, some Yom Tovim, Mr. Lawrence, Alav Shalom, and I could tell you that from seeing his grandchildren and from knowing Rabbi Lawrence, from his side of the family, and all of them, that there wasn't just a yira, it was a real yira saraymus. It was something that I understand that when they saw who their grandfather, who their father was, it was not just that, I have a yira, it's my father's, my grandfather. No, there was a real covet. There was a real yira saraymus that was there. And I think that in retrospect, we speak about it all the time in the shul. I come from my grandparents on two sides. I have grandparents that survived the war, and I have grandparents that grew up in America. And it's very easy sometimes to look in life and to say that those who came over and survived the war, what they were able to be megada, what they were able to rebuild here. But we should never take for granted with those people who grew up in America with their nisyonis. And knowing when Ms. Lawrence in Richmond, and as I just mentioned, Rabbi Lawrence just mentioned the other towns, there's a pachad. We can't even imagine with any hasaga of what their nisyonis were to say, I want my children to go to yeshiva. I want to be Shem Torah mitzvahs from their background. They didn't have a Europe to go back to. They made a decision growing up here in America. That's ahavas Torah v'Yerushalayim. That's an incredible ava that they have to say, I want to have a derech of being Shem Torah mitzvahs. It's bracha that Hitaka was able to zeicha to have children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren who follow in the path of Shem Torah and mitzvahs, great-grandchildren. We Shem Torah mitzvahs. But then that's my question.
Stars.
Okay.
Ready to take it in?
David?
Turn it in and then they'll put it on the floor.